Okay. So let's say you have, I don't know, 2 terabytes that you want to store.
Okay.
How much storage do you need in a RAID?
Well, if you are using RAID 5 on the RAID that you are using, and you have a 5A RAID, you are going to be losing one of those drives. So that means that RAID that is 5 terabyte will become 4 terabyte RAID. And then the advertising or marketing price on the hard drives is not necessarily the useful or the space. For example, a 1 terabyte drive is not 1 terabyte, it's more like 960 gigabytes. So when you start adding those, you don't end up with 5 terabytes, you end up with like 4.5 terabytes. And when you RAID that out, you end in being 3.5 terabytes. So if you have 2 terabytes, I would say a 5 terabyte RAID will be a safe place to be with enough space to grow up maybe another terabyte on it. So
would you need a 5-bay drive?
You will need a 5-bay drive. You will find a lot of 4-bay drives on the industry, and I personally like to have 5 drives because if you're going to be doing RAID 5, you're actually losing 1 drive, and the way that the drives get a speed on it is by pairs. So if you have 2 drives, let's say you have a speed on a drive, right, and you want to double that speed, you grab 2 drives and you stripe them together, so you get a little bit more of that speed. If you add a 3rd drive into it and stripe 3 drives, you don't really get more than 5% speed advantage until you actually put 4 drives. Okay, so the 3 combination is not a real thing. So if you want to have a more speed from 2 drives, you want to do 4, not 3. Does that make sense? So if you have 4 drives and then you create RAID 5, what is going to happen is that you're going to lose 1 drive, meaning you're going to go back to 3 drives.
So for somebody who's got a DSLR and they want to do video editing,
okay,
will a 5400 speed be fast enough?
No, you want to have 7200 RPM drives for any video that you want to do, regardless.
And how much of an improvement would it be having 2 drives to RAID over just 1?
It will say it is 40% over. So if 1 drive is doing 80 megabytes per second, a single drive, you will see around 120 on 2 drives. And also that depends on the type of interface that is being used to bring that data into the computer. Some interfaces are faster than the other ones, so it will give you the full 120. But if you hook it up, let's say something on USB 2, it won't be 120, it will be less than 80. Even lower than that if it is USB. But if you hook it up these 2 drives in a SATA port, then you will the full 120 gigabytes advantage.
To get 80, would you need USB 3?
You will need a USB 3 because USB 3 runs on 5 gigabytes. So if you're running 2 drives on USB, you will get 120 gigabytes out of 2 drives, 7200 RPM drives.
And what if you wanted to connect it to a laptop?
To laptop, it will depend on the type of interfaces. The new laptop, they have Thunderbolt. So you want to have an enclosure that has Thunderbolt in it, and Thunderbolt runs on 10 gig. So, if you really want to take a speed out of that, if you put 2 drives on Thunderbolt, you will still get the 120 gig out of the 2 drives.
You don't have Thunderbolt. Do you want USB 3 or?
You want USB 3 just because it's 5 gigabyte and it's easy, and it's not a lot of laptops with SATA, especially on the new laptops. They don't have SATA ports. They have USB 3 or Thunderbolt. So you will want to either do those 2. If you don't do that and you want to put any other interface, you have to go to an expansion chassis, and then things get a little complicated, but it's doable as well.
Do you need a RAID controller for the laptop?
No, for 2 drives. If you're going to do 2 drives, you don't really need that. You want to start using a RAID controller when you go up to 5 drives. If you do 5 drives, then you want to do a RAID 5, and then you need a RAID controller inside the cabinet to be able to RAID those 5 drives and make a RAID out of there, and have a parity drive. So that's why you lose 1 drive every single time you do RAID. That's why you don't want to have a 4-bay RAID, because you do RAID, you lose 1, so you end up having 3 drives, no speed. But if you have 5 drives, then you're going to be getting the full speed of the 4 drives plus the protection of the 5th drive.
Where is the RAID controller physically? Can you show me?
RAID controllers are inside the cabinet, so it's not something that you can physically see. Actually, on this one, it's on the front part, so you can see the display that allows you to do settings on the RAID and say, okay, I want to do RAID 5 or RAID 2 or whatever. RAID 3 or RAID 1. Like this one, the controller is back inside the cabinet on the back part. So each unit has different places to put the RAID controllers on it.
And do they need special heat, special cooling?
Well, RAID controllers are more like SSD drives, so they don't really have anything spinning, so they don't really create a lot of heat. So on the past, you need regular good fans on it, but today, I mean, most chipsets are pretty cold efficient, so now you don't really need a lot of power fan on there.
And what's this thing?
This is a total different thing. This is based on PCIe. PCIe is a technology that has been on the computers for almost, I would say, a little bit over 10 years, but nobody has been taking advantage of that.
These are extra bays?
This is actually a 20 gigabyte RAID. So we have SSD drives inside this cabinet, and this RAID is actually running at 20 gigabyte speed. So this will go up to 1200 megabytes per second.
Who needs such fast speed?
People doing uncompressed video, 2K, 4K, HD video with a lot of tracks, people doing films, and they need full uncompressed storage for long, at least an hour or so. So those people are gonna use 20 gig, and they're gonna use it and eat the storage real fast.
If people want to find you, what's your website?
Our website is HDDisk.us.com, and we have over 25 years of manufacturing storage. Our background goes back to 1984 with Micronet technology, and in 1994 actually we created a company called Promax Systems, and now we have HDDisk, so we can help you with any storage needs.